Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on median and mode. Median and and mode. Those are two separate things, but they have to deal with how spread out our data is. Again, we are talking about a list of numbers, a data set, which is a list of numbers, and what they have in common, what relationships do they have with each other. We have talked about mean before. Mean is when you add all the numbers up and divide by how many they are, and that gives you a centralized number that all of those numbers revolve around. Now, median is something kind of similar to that. So let's go ahead and we're going to talk about median first here. So I want to find the median. To find the median, the first thing you have to do, I'm going to write the steps over here. So to find the median, the first thing that you have to do is put your numbers in order least to greatest. So the first thing is order numbers least to greatest. Okay, so that should be a really easy task. We're really good at that. So I look at my list. I have a 7. Actually, I don't want to put that there. I'm going to reorder them up here. So I'm going to have a 7. Okay, got rid of that guy. Another 7. The next least is a 14. And yes, for those of you wondering, you do have to do this. This is a mandatory thing in order for this to work correctly because the median is the number directly in the middle of this list. So you have to order your numbers or else you're not going to know what the right number is in the middle of your list. So I've ordered all of my numbers from least to greatest. I cross these out. I cross out these data numbers here as I go to make sure that I included all of the original numbers in my new ordered list. So what I'm going to do to find the median is I'm going to start on one side and I'm going to cross out a number on each side of this list until I'm left with one standing in the middle. So 7 goes, the least goes, and the greatest goes at the same time. Okay, I'm going to do that again. All right, the next least goes and the next greatest goes. I'm going to do that again, the next least, the next greatest, and as you notice, I am left with one number here in the middle. This guy right here is the number that is directly in the middle of my data, and so the median is 15. Okay, it is the number directly in the middle. If we did not put the numbers in order from least to greatest, we wouldn't be able to see what number is directly in the middle of that list. Now, the other thing that we're supposed to find is the mode. All right, the mode is really fun to remember because it is the most common, meaning it is the number that you see the most. So if we look at our data set here, we can look at the original or we can look at the ordered. It doesn't really matter. But if we look at our data set here, what number do you see the most often? What number do you see the most here? I see a 120, a 14, a 15, there's a 7, a 19, a 22, and oh, another 7. So the number that I see the most here in this list is a 7. And so the mode is the number that we see the most. Okay, so again, let's write out some steps here. So to find the median, we order the numbers least to greatest. The second thing we do is we cross out one by one the greatest number and the least number, until we're only left with a number in the middle. Until left with a number in the middle. Another way that you can think of this is until we don't have any other numbers to cross out. So cross out one on one side, cross out one on the other side. Keep going back and forth, crossing out those numbers until you can't cross out any more numbers evenly on both sides. All right, and once we do that, we will have our median. Now to find the mode, I'll put those instructions over here. Sorry about that. To find the mode, it's pretty simple. Okay, to find the mode, It's the number you see the most. So first step and only step, it's the number you see the most. It's the number you see listed the most. Now what's cool about the mode is that you can have more than one mode. You can have no mode, and we're going to talk about what that looks like here in a little bit. But for this first example, the median is 15. That is the number directly in the middle of this list. And the mode is 7. That is the number that we see the most often in this list. Okay, we see it twice. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more examples. Here is my next data set. We can have them in a table. So this is days of the week and how many flowers were in the garden. Again, my first step is to order least to greatest. So I'm going to take these numbers and I'm going to rewrite them down here. So my least number is a 2. All right, I have another 2, so 2 2s there. The next least number is a 5. The next least number is a 6. Next one is a 7, and then we have an 8, and there's actually 2 8s. So there's all of my numbers that I've listed out there. So again, the way that we find the median is we cross off the smallest number and the biggest number at the same time. So this 2 is going to go, and this 8 is going to go. All right, again, this 2 is going to go, and this 8 is going to go. And I keep going back and forth like this until I am left with a number in the middle there, and that is our median. So 6 right here is our median. I like to circle the median. It kind of splits out my data pretty nice. I can see I have 3 numbers on each side of that 6, so the median for this data is a 6. All right, now the next thing we have to do is find the mode. So I'm going to erase all my scratches here. All right, so what number do we see the most here? Now I have 2 2s, I have a 5, a 6, a 7, and I have 2 8s. So what numbers do we see the most? Well, all the other numbers only have 1, except for the 2s. There's 2 of them. And also the 8s. There's 2 of them as well. And so like I mentioned before, you can actually have 2 modes. All right, if a number appears the same amount of times, both of those can be the mode. So our mode here on this one is going to be 2, and it's also going to be 8 because there's 2 2s and there's also 2 8s. So it is those numbers appear the same amount of times, and they appear more than the other numbers. So the mode is going to be 2 and 8. So we have 2 modes for this one. Now, you might have noticed these data sets that we have had so far have odd numbers, meaning there's 7 numbers here in this example. And the one above here, there was also 7 numbers. So you might be wondering, well, what happens if you have a data set that has an even amount of numbers? So let's take a look at this set here. There are 6 numbers in this data set. All right, again, to find the median, I am going to list these numbers out least to greatest. So I have, they're actually listed for me, but I am going to rewrite it. So 6, the next one's going to be a 10. The next one will be 14. Okay, 17. So again, they did list my numbers correctly for me, but that is okay. We can always rewrite them. All right, so there are my numbers. Just like before, I eliminate the smallest number and the biggest number at the same time. So the 6 is going to go, and this 19 is going to go. Let me change colors. This 10 is going to go, and this 18 is going to go. Now, if I cross out both this 14 and the 17, I am left with no numbers in the middle. So if I were to go 14's gone, 17's gone, does that mean that I don't have a median, that there's no number in the middle? Okay, that is not what it means, all right? When I am left with 2 numbers in the middle like this, I can't cross them all out, okay? I can't have no median. There always has to be a median, all right? What do I have to do is, if I have an even amount like this and I'm left with 2 numbers in the middle, I'm going to take these 2 numbers and I'm going to add them together, okay? 14 plus 17. Well, 4 plus 7 is 11, and so I end up with 31 there, okay, 31. And then I'm going to divide, there were 2 numbers here, so I'm going to divide 31 by 2. Now, some of you might be thinking, that sounds very familiar. Okay, what I just did actually is I found the mean of those 2 numbers. I found the mean or the average of those 2 numbers left in the middle there. All right, and that's going to tell me what the absolute absolute middle number is of this entire set. So let's go ahead and divide over here to the side. 2 goes into 31, so 2 goes into 3 once. Subtract. Bring down that 1. It is going to be a decimal, and that's okay. 2 goes into 11 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract. Bring down the 0 and make sure you put your decimal up on the answer line there. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 5 times 2 is 10. I get a 0 and I am done. So what this means is that this number, 15 and 5/10 is the median. It is the number directly in the middle of this set of data. It is the number directly between 14 and 17. You cannot have two mediums, okay? So the way that you solve that problem, because again, you can't have two of them, is you find the mean or the average of the two numbers you're left with. All right, and so for this problem here, the median is going to be that number directly in the middle between our two numbers that were left, which is 15 and 5/10. Now, we do have to find the mode, so take a look at those numbers there. We want to talk about what was the number that we see the most here. All right, I have a 6, a 10, a 14, a 17, an 18, and 19. Does any number appear more than another number? Well, the answer is no. All of the numbers only appear once. And if all of the numbers appear the same amount of times, then that means that you do not have a number that sticks out more than the others. And so that means that you have no mode. You're allowed to have no mode, okay? That means that none of the numbers, they're all there the same amount, okay? None of the numbers are more than the other. All right, so this is the tutorial video for median and mode. I hope that this cleared up how this works. We did some easy problems, and then of course this hardest problem is this last one, what happens when you have 6 numbers in a data set. So I hope that kind of clears up what you need to do, and we'll take mean, median, and mode and apply it to further ways to categorize data and find the center of data. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!